This video will show how I made a combination airsoft sniper shotgun with the air pump in the stock. With one pellet loaded, it is quite a powerful rifle at range, and with multiple pellets it makes for an excellent room-clearing shotgun. This rifle operates using a custom trigger valve built right onto the barrel, which is a steel brake line sized to fit airsoft pellets. These are available at any auto parts store and can be purchased in several lengths to create a long barrel or a compact version of this project. The first step is to modify the brake line by drilling several holes about a 1/4 inch from the flare on one end. These holes are what the pressurized air will flow through to fire the pellets out of the barrel later. 4 evenly spaced 1/10 inch diameter holes will work nicely. To seal the barrel behind the holes, I'll start by placing a pin through the center of them. An airsoft pellet is then dropped down on top of the pin to create a small space that can be filled with hot glue. When the glue cools, the pin can be removed, leaving the pellet and glue as a permanent plug. An O-ring that fits tightly over the brake line can now be snapped on over the plugged flare. The ring will act as a seal against the fitting on the line and prevent air pressure from escaping until the trigger is pulled. A threaded 1-inch PVC end cap now needs to have a hole drilled in the center to accept the threads on the brake line. The hole should be small enough that the threads bite in for an airtight seal. We can now see how this valve will work. When the barrel is pulled forward, the O-ring will seal the chamber so it can be pressurized, and when pushed back, the air will rush through the holes drilled in the side to throw any projectile that has been loaded. To keep the valve closed until the trigger is pulled, I'll be using a spring to hold the barrel forward. This spring should be a large enough diameter to fit over the fittings on the brake line. The loose fitting on the line should be slid to where the base of the threads is just less distance from the cap as the total length of the spring and glued in place. The spring can now be placed over the fittings and a washer over top of that. Next to go on is a nut, but since brake lines use fine threads rather than standard coarse threads, it may take some searching to find a nut the right size to fit them. If a nut cannot be found, the washer can simply be held on by hot glue. The trigger valve is now completed. The spring holds it closed when at rest, but pressure on the washer will push the barrel back and allow air to flow through. The chamber of this rifle, which is a 1x4-inch PVC pipe nipple, should now be prepared by drilling a hole at the midpoint to accept a brass air tank valve. Again, the hole should be small enough that the threads bite in for a tight seal. With the air valve installed, the chamber is ready to be threaded onto the barrel, and to be sure that there are no leaks, some pipe thread paste should be applied first. To close off the far end of the chamber, some more paste on a second threaded cap will work perfectly. The stock is now the last piece to make this rifle fully functional. A compact bicycle pump clips right onto the brass valve, doubling as both the stock and the air supply. 2 or 3 pumps and a pellet down the barrel is all it takes to be ready to fire. As an additional modification, I've glued a holographic sight to the top of the chamber to fine-tune my accuracy.